If you cannot or do not want to do dual system sound, that is record your sound separate from your video and then sync it up in post, here's an interesting option for you. This is the beachtek DXA-Micro Pro, a new audio adapter from beachtek. And what it does is it actually is the preamplifier for your microphones and then feeds that into your camera, so you get cleaner gain and better sound overall. This entire episode is recorded with the beachtek DXA-Micro Pro into my Panasonic GH4. Now, in full disclosure, this unit was provided to me by beachtek. I did not pay for it with my own money. The DXA-Micro Pro kit comes with the DXA-Micro Pro itself. It also comes with two coiled cables with 3.5mm connectors. These allow you, first of all, to send the output from the DXA-Micro Pro into your camera's microphone input. And the second one is for cases where your camera has a microphone output. You can route that back into the DXA-Micro Pro so that when you play back your recorded video, you can actually monitor that on the DXA-Micro Pro. It also has an included brass cold shoe, which allows you to mount it on top of your camera or rig. And if you prefer, you can also remove that cold shoe with the included Allen wrench, which allows you to mount the DXA-Micro Pro underneath your camera. You have a nice analog dial here to control the volume, and the overall amplifier for the headphones seems really quite good, actually impressively good for the price of the unit. The build and ergonomics are fantastic. The body is mostly metal. The back appears to be plastic. The battery case is plastic, but it seems to be a high-quality plastic. It also is fairly easy to get the battery drawer out, and it doesn't allow you to put the battery in backwards. There's only one way to put it in, so that's helpful, and it seems relatively secure. The thing I like most about the build quality on this and the ergonomics on this is that it's a purely analog device. That is to say, there are no menus to go into. Everything is controlled by a switch or a potentiometer or a knob, and it makes it very, very simple to operate this device. In terms of powering the DXA-Micro Pro, it takes a single 9-volt battery. If you use an alkaline battery, you get about 3 hours of powering time. If you're not phantom powering, if you are phantom powering, I got about 2 hours. And then if you use a lithium battery, which I haven't tested myself, you can evidently get 8 hours of powering time without phantom powering. And I'm not sure how much you would get if you were phantom powering. My guess would be somewhere around 5 to 6 hours. The DXA-Micro Pro has one XLR input and 3 different 3.5mm microphone inputs. You can actually record any 2 of them at a time because, of course, you're going into a camera that has a stereo mini jack. That is to say, most of the DSLRs and mirrorless cameras that have microphone inputs, they have a stereo mini jack. That's a 3.5mm mic input, and that can take 2 channels, so you can record 2 microphones at the same time. There are 2 separate gain settings for each microphone input on the DXA-Micro Pro. There's a low and a high setting. If you set it to low, you get 15 decibels of gain. If you set it to high, you get 30 decibels of gain. In practical terms, what that means is that most condenser microphones can be very effectively amplified with the DXA-Micro Pro. Now, talking first of all a little bit about the 3.5mm microphone inputs, this is the most exciting part about the DXA-Micro Pro as far as I'm concerned. The very first feature that is awesome is that you can actually record 2 separate lavalier microphones or 3.5mm mic inputs at the same time to separate channels on your camera, which is really, really exciting. What that means is that you can actually record 2 different microphones. Say, for example, 2 different lavalier microphones. I'm using Rode Link wireless lavalier microphones here. And you can actually record 2 of those, one to the left channel and one to the right channel on your camera audio. The reason that's important is that once you get into post and editing, you can actually very, very precisely edit each of those microphone inputs separately, which is not something you can do directly with your camera. I'm recording into the left channel.
And I'm recording into the right channel.
What's more is that these 3.5mm microphone inputs are very, very impressive. I think they sound quite good. You're hearing them right now, and not only do they sound good, but they also provide a lot of clean gain. So when I actually brought in this audio here, loudness normalized it to -23 LUFS, which is the European broadcast standard for loudness. I found the noise floor sat at -69 dB RMS. That's actually very, very good. In fact, that's actually better than some other microphones I've used into proper audio recorders. Now here's an example of how the XLR microphone input on the DXA-Micro Pro sounds. I'm recording with the Rode NTG2 into the DXA-Micro Pro, which is then routed to the Panasonic GH4. We did no post-processing here except to loudness normalize the audio to -23 LUFS, which is the European broadcast standard for loudness. How clean is the XLR input on the DXA-Micro Pro? Well, we did kind of a practical test to assess that. I'm recording here with the Rode NTG2 shotgun microphone into the DXA-Micro Pro into the Panasonic GH4. So what we did is we actually set the gain level so that it was actually on low gain with the gain trim knob set to about half, and we were able to get a nice clean signal that way. And then what I did in post is I loudness normalized the audio to minus 23 LUFS. And then when I did that, the silence sections, again, that's going to include all the room ambiance and other things like that, came out to minus 61 dB RMS. So that's exactly pretty much where I'm trying to aim to get with the noise floor. In most cases, I want to be at minus 60 dB or lower. So we hit that no problem with a condenser microphone. So I think you'll have good luck with most condenser microphones in the DXA-Micro Pro. On the other hand, if you're going to use a dynamic microphone like a Shure SM58, it may not come out nearly as clean. And in that case, the same test that I did there, we got a noise floor of minus 51. So can you use one? Yeah, you could use one. You're going to have to do a little bit of noise reduction in post if you don't want to have that sort of hiss noise floor sitting in your audio. Now you can also record what we call a safety track. What this allows you to do is actually record the same microphone to two different tracks at different gain levels. The reason that's important is that if your talent gets really, really loud unexpectedly and you don't react quickly enough and pull the gain down, you can actually you'll have the recorded a safety track at a lower gain level so it won't clip and make that distortion sound. Pricing for the DXA-Micro Pro, this is a new product. It is priced currently at $200 US. Overall conclusion, the DXA-Micro Pro is a very respectable piece of gear. I think it works very nicely, especially for those situations where you don't have time to sync your audio in post after recording the audio separate from the camera. Also, it is very, very well built. You get reasonably decent battery life, and you get this great feature of being able to record two lavalier microphones into your DSLR or mirrorless camera. I also love that it's an analog piece of gear. All of the controls are either switches or knobs or potentiometers, and it's very easy to operate, very quick to operate. Overall, I think a really nice piece of kit for $200 US. If you have any questions, go ahead and leave those down below. And if you have not already subscribed, make sure you do that. And we'll be sure to get you more great videos on how to improve your lighting and sound for video. Talk to you soon.